Now, machine is of two types. Machine is of two types, simple machine and complex machine. What is a simple machine? Simple machine is made up of single tool. Like these all tools are the example of simple machine. What is a complex machine? Complex machine is made up of more than two simple machines. These are the examples of complex machine. These all are made up of more than two or three simple machines. Now, what is a simple machine? Simple is machine is made up of single tool and it makes your work easier, or it requires less energy to do work. These are the example of simple machine: lever, inclined plane, screw, wedge, pulley, wheel and axle. All are the examples of simple machine. Now, here is a lever. Lever basically used to lift the objects. There are three terms in the lever: fulcrum, effort, and load. There are three types of lever: first class lever, second class lever, third class lever. So, in the first class lever, what is the arrangement of effort, load, and fulcrum? Fulcrum is in between the load and effort. That arrangement is called first class lever. Like in the scissor, we have fulcrum is in between the load and effort. Same as in the crowbar, same as in the can opener, same as in the seesaw, all are having this kind of arrangement. Means fulcrum is in between the load and effort. Now the second class lever. What is second class lever? In the second class lever, we are having the load is in between the effort and fulcrum. Now let us see here: a nutcracker, bottle opener, wheelbarrow, all are the example of second class lever. In this, we are having the load here. From here, we put the effort, and this is our fulcrum. So, this arrangement is called second class lever, this kind of arrangement. Okay. Then we have third class lever. In the third class lever, we are having the effort is in between the fulcrum and the weight. Now let us see from here. This is a picture. From here, you lift the load, means your hands basically lift the load. So this is a load. From here, you make the effort from your muscles. This is the effort. And this point is called, which is helping you to putting the objects, that is called a fulcrum. So effort is in between the load and fulcrum. So this is an example of third class lever. Okay. Now let us see what is an inclined plane. Okay, inclined plane is this. In this, there is one surface tilt at an angle. जहाँ पर एक surface एक angle पर tilt होगा, that is called a inclined plane. It is used to lift the heavy objects. Okay. इंक्लाइंड प्लेन, जब भी आपको कोई भी हैवी ऑब्जेक्ट लिफ्ट करना है, यू आर यूजिंग द इंक्लाइंड प्लेन. You are tilted flat surface at an angle, and it also makes your work easier. Okay, understand this thing. Now let us see the definition. It is formed by the a flat surface tilt at an angle in order to support the movement of heavy loads is known as inclined plane. When you are using a flat surface tilt at an angle to support the movement of heavy loads, that point is called inclined plane. It is used to lift the baggage or from the trucks, or it is using in the ramps in the hospitals to basically carry the patient's load. Public places, you are having the ramps. In the playgrounds, you are having the ramps. Sloppy roads, you are having the ramps. And then on the hills, you are having the ramp. So this is a tilt surface area which is helping you to lift the heavy objects. When you have to lift the heavy object, you are using a inclined plane. Like stairs is also an example of inclined plane. Okay. Then third is wedge. When you are cutting the objects or anything you are cutting, you are using a wedge. Okay. When you have to cut something, anything you have to cut, you are using a wedge there. Okay, so let us see here, a axe, chisel, knife, blade, all are the examples of wedge, and these are using for cutting the things. Now let us see here, it is made up of two inclined plane. Let us see from here, this is a inclined plane. Okay, when we joined two inclined plane, it formed a wedge, single wedge. Wedge is sharp at one end and blunt at one end. Means एक साइड से ये blunt होगा, एक साइड से ये sharp होगा. Sharp objects, sharp जो end होगा, it is used to cut the things. When you put the pressure on the blunt end, it will cut the things. Okay. So if you cut the objects, you want to cut the objects, you are using a wedge. Let me explain you again. What we did is, what is an inclined plane? When you have to lift the heavy objects, you are using a inclined plane. Okay, when you have to lift the heavy objects. And then when you have to cut the objects, you are using a wedge. Now let us discuss its definition. It is formed by joining of two inclined plane in such a way that one end is blunt while the other one is sharp. Okay, एक end क्या होगा, blunt होगा, and one end is sharp, and it is used to cutting the things. Okay, now its example is axe, chisel, knife, blade. The thing which you are using to cut, these are the examples of a wedge. And if you want to carry the load, you are using the inclined plane. Okay, understand this thing? Now, but you have to, like, what is a lever? You have to write there that lever is used to lift the objects. We have three important terms in the lever: fulcrum, load, and effort. Then we have three types of lever: first class lever, second class lever, third class lever. In the first class lever, we are having the fulcrum is in between the load and effort. Its arrangement is like this. जहां भी इस तरह की arrangement होगी, that is the example of first class lever. Now अभी स्टूडेंट्स के डाउट आ रहा होगा कि मैम सीजर तो आपने फर्स्ट क्लास लीवर का बताया, बट इट्स अरेंजमेंट इज लाइक फर्स्ट क्लास लीवर, बट इट्स फंक्शन इज ऑफ वेज. इसका फंक्शन जो है वो वेज वाला है. इट इज यूज टू कट द थिंग्स, बट इट्स अरेंजमेंट ऑफ मेकिंग इज अ फर्स्ट क्लास लीवर. ओके, so next is second class lever. In the second class lever, we are having the load is in between the fulcrum and effort. In the third class lever, we are having effort is in between the fulcrum and the load. So this is the arrangement of third class lever. Now, what is an inclined plane? Inclined plane, we are using inclined plane to lift the heavy objects like in the trucks, from the ramps, from the stairs. So we are using inclined plane for this. Then what is a wedge? Wedge is used to cutting the things. We are using the things to we use the wedge to cut the things like axe, chisel, knife, blade. Like this, we are joining two inclined plane together, and then there is a wedge found. Wedge is from the one end it is sharp, and from the other end it is blunt. Okay, and we used it to cutting the things. Now, what is your homework today? Let me tell you. You have to write the definition of machine, then types of machine, simple machine and complex machine. You have to write this also, simple machine, its types. We will discuss these three in the tomorrow class. Okay, screw is used to join the things. Okay, pulley is used to lift the objects, wheel and axle to move the objects or change the directions of the object. Okay, now so you have to write the complex machine definition. No need to draw this diagram. Then you have to write the lever. First class lever, you have to draw this diagram. Okay, in the first class lever. Second class lever, you have to draw this diagram in the second class lever. Then third class lever, you have to write this diagram, draw this diagram in the third class lever. Then this is an inclined plane. You have to draw like this. Inclined plane, you have to draw like this. Okay, one angle, and then this is all about inclined plane. You have to write this only, okay? Then you have to write wedge. Wedge is used to cut the things, and then you have to draw this diagram like this. And write here joining of two inclined plane forms the wedge. Okay, you have to write this in your notebook. So आपका बेटा आज का जो होमवर्क है आपको यहीं तक करना है वेज तक, and 3 machines we will discuss tomorrow. Now I will take your doubts, okay? Okay, let me repeat Shivam for you, lever and simple machine. What we did is, what is a machine? Machine is a tool which makes our work easier, which makes our efforts less, from where we require less energy. So machines makes our work easier by lesser our energy, by less our efforts. Now machine is of two types, simple machine and complex machine. Simple machine is made up of single tool, okay, and complex machine is made up of two or more simple machine. Now here is a simple machine which is made up of single tools which makes our work easier. Here are the machines which are basically the simple machine, means they are having single tool, lever, inclined plane, screw, wedge, pulley, wheel and axle. Their functions are single, like lever lift objects, inclined plane. What is the function of inclined plane? To lift the heavy objects. Screw to hold the objects. Wedge to cut the things. Pulley to lift the objects. Wheel and axle to move the direction. Okay, to move the objects. And so these are the functions of this simple machine. Now, what is a complex machine? Complex machine is also called compound machine, and it is made up of two or more simple machines. Then we did, here is the compound machine examples. We are having the combination of simple machine. We have the, sorry, combination combining of two simple machine forms the one compound machine, okay? When we combine two simple machine, it forms a single compound machine. Now, here is a lever. Lever is used to basically lift the objects. Like we have fulcrum, load and effort in it. There is a arrangement in the first class lever. We have the fulcrum is in between the load and effort, like this. In the scissor we have the fulcrum, then we have the load from the front end, and from the back end we put the effort. So this is the arrangement of first class lever. Then we have second class lever. In the second class lever, we are having the load is in between the effort and fulcrum. Here is a nutcracker. We have the nut is in between, like we have the load, from where we have, from the end of the nutcracker we put the efforts, and from the front end we have the fulcrum. So this is the example of second class lever. Okay. Now the third class lever. We are having the effort is in between the load and fulcrum. Okay, we put the efforts from our arms. So this is a effort. Here is, that point is called fulcrum because it helps you to move, and here you put the load. So the effort is in between the fulcrum and the load. So this is the example of third class lever, a fishing rod. Then we did an inclined plane. Inclined plane is used to lift the heavy objects. You can roll heavy objects. If you want to push the heavy objects, you make the inclined plane, and you can easily move that heavy objects upward. Then we did in wedge. Wedge is used to cutting the objects. Okay, if you want to cut anything, you use wedge. So wedge is blunt at one end and sharp at one end. If you want to cut the things, you have to join two inclined plane together. Okay.
पूरा वीडियो देखने के लिए और लेटेस्ट एग्जाम अपडेट्स जानने के लिए डाउनलोड करें कैरियर डिफेंस स्कूल का एंड्रॉयड ऐप।